let's get into this last night in the NCAA tournament. A barn burner, a veritable nail biter between third-seeded Kansas State and seventh-seeded Michigan State. Kansas State holds off the Spartans to win 98-93, advance to the Elite Eight. And, of course, the story was the young point guard, or not young, but by college standards, but the point guard for Kansas State, Marcus Noel, he goes out there and has 20 points and 19 assists and 5 steals to boot. I mean, fantastic performance by this young man. And he was a story. But Tom Izzo sounded a bit like a sore loser after the game. Here he goes.
I'm so proud of these guys for a lot of reasons. I mean, give them credit, but I mean, they banked in 2 shot clock threes. And they made some big plays, but some of those plays weren't big plays. They were lucky plays. And I didn't think we played our best. I think some of it was them. I think some of it was us. But, boy, we bounced back in that second half. And I've been part of a lot of wins. I've been part of a lot of losses. Tough losses, but I've never been prouder of a team because we didn't really have it tonight, and yet we still found a way to battle back, and I was proud of our guys.
Very interesting quotes from Izzo. Izzo, of course, a legendary coach there at Michigan State, but sounded, I don't think that was the right thing to say. He gave his team more credit than the winner. Talked about them being lucky. You bouncing in 3-pointers, like he said at the buzzer. Yeah, there is a little bit of luck in that. But you can just say it in a way, hey, we got some bad breaks. I mean, they did bounce in a few through threes. Give them credit, but, we didn't catch any breaks, and it felt like they did. But, those kids deserve it. They played well, and you can credit your kids as well. But I just thought, you remember, this is college, and I know that we'll treat these guys at times like they're pros. I mean, certainly it's on national television. You even have the NBA broadcasters in the studio, Barkley and Kenny Smith and all that. But I just think when you're dealing with kids on the college level, you do, and remember, part of your job is to set that example as a coach and or an administrator of some sort. And I thought that what he said, it wasn't horrible. I'm not going to destroy him, but he definitely didn't really give them credit for beating Michigan State. And here's the thing with Michigan State. Izzo has won national championship, of course, and that was way back in the year 2000. Now has had several Final Fours, including that one. He's had 8 Final Fours. And the issue we want to deal with today is because Rob Parker, who isn't here, like I said, because of technical difficulties, hopefully he'll join us shortly, but he likes to jump on Izzo and Jim Boeheim. And, Rob sometimes has selective outrage, as I'll say, to use Chris Rock's term, because Rob likes to say, anybody can get one, right? That's what he says when he rips Boeheim for having won national championship in 47 years at Syracuse. And Tom Izzo for having won national championship 23 years ago in all of his years, his tenure at 25 years in coaching at Michigan State. And Rob, I was saying how you like to rip Boeheim and Izzo for just having one championship. Now, I said you do have some selective outrage because when Aaron Rodgers only wins one, you don't say, well, anybody can win one.
Jim Boeheim coached for 50 years, Chris. It's not the same. Right. Would you agree with that? Would you agree with that?
I don't agree with the anybody can win one philosophy.
No, but I'm just saying, but 50 years is not the same as playing.
No, of course it's not.
Okay, and that's And the same thing, Izzo's been there 30-some-odd years, and they haven't
25.
once. He hasn't been there.
He's been head coaching 25 years.
Okay, well,
25 years at Michigan State, I believe. No, I'm sorry, 25 years in the tournament.
Right, that's what.
Right.
I'm just saying he hasn't won in a long time. Is my point. I don't know. I think, college coaches. It's just funny how people look at. Tubby Smith has one championship. Is he on par with Tom Izzo and Jim Boeheim?
Well,
no.
But it's not just the one championship. You do look at other things.
But
I think what you bring up is interesting because we're going to ask, is it just about Final Fours? Not just, but like LeBron, he's got 4 championships. Jordan has 6, but LeBron's been no more. And some people want to.
Is it about going? Is it about right?
And Izzo's been to 8 Final Fours, Rob, but he's only won one.
But in reality, Chris, is that a good thing that he's been to 8 Final Fours, but only won 1 championship? You see what I'm saying? So he's failed in the bigger games.
Yeah, that's a good. Here's what I think. I do think with college coaches, I guess ultimately what I'm saying is having 1 championship. I have no problem with a guy like that still being a Hall of Famer because I do think getting to numerous Final Fours is impressive because your team had to be good enough to get into the tournament. And remember, we've talked about this, a one and done. You said to yourself, you don't think Jordan would have 6 rings if the NBA was one and done.
Yeah, but the difference is he's got. But I get that.
Are crazy.
I get that, but the one and done when you talk about Tom Izzo is that he has been there. He lost to Butler. He lost to, you go look at who he's lost to and getting there. And I don't know if that's
I'm sure he's won some upsets too.
Yeah, I'm just saying, but he's been there 8 times. He's been to 1 championship. He's won 1 championship, I should say. And for Jim Boeheim, who coached 50 years at Syracuse, I mean, what's that excuse? Like with the players that have come through there.
If you now there's levels. You certainly wouldn't put one of them on the level of a Bobby Knight, a Mike Krzyzewski, guys that did win more rings or more championships. But I do think it's still impressive. I do think it still means, I think Boeheim did a great job. Now you can debate the X's and O's adjustments. Obviously, he's always had his team sitting in that 2-3 zone. But I do think if you look at his tenure at Syracuse overall or Izzo's at Michigan State, I think you'd have to conclude they were successful. It was a great run. Michigan State wasn't anything before Izzo got there. They won the championship with Magic.
Judd Heathcote won 1 championship.
With Magic, yeah. No, I'm just saying, outside of that year, they weren't very good.
They
weren't like a year in, year out power like they are under Izzo.
Yeah, I just think when I look at the overall scope that Michigan State should have done more, that everybody back in 2000 when they won a championship would have believed that Tom Izzo would have won more because he was that kind of a coach. I would agree because
that was about his 5th. That was about his 5th year.
Yes, that was early on in his career.
He wins it. So, yeah, of course you're thinking we're going to win more. And I'm not saying they shouldn't have won more. I'm just saying I don't think it disqualifies you from being considered a great coach if you only won 1 national championship.
Okay, I'd say that to me it's more than just that. I just look at the body of work, how long you were coached, what kind of players came through,
right.
and when I of course they're going to put Jim Boeheim in the Hall of Fame, or is he already in because of his longevity?
Right.
But there was mostly disappointment at Syracuse with Jim Boeheim.
Really?
Yeah.
No way.
They didn't get nearly as many championships as they should have or had as much success.
But mostly
and if Carmelo Anthony didn't show up, he might not even have one.
Right. I get that. But to say it was mostly disappointing, I totally can't agree with that. Okay. They've been a great program for 50 years or, under him. You are right. They only won 1. But they have, like I said, I do believe, especially in a situation where it's a one and done and anything can happen on any given day, especially with college kids, I think that program's been great under him. So let's throw it out to the listeners.
If that's great, what was John Wooden at
Well, wouldn't you not?
No,
we
no,
talked
no,
about
no.
it yesterday. You're not going to see another Wooden. Wooden had the best run of any college coach in history.
I got that. I asked you if Jim Boeheim is great, what is John Wooden?
Phenomenal.
Is what I'm asking. Okay.
I mean,
that's what I'm asking.
He's like in a league by himself.
I just think we use great too much. If I said that John Wooden was great, Jim Boeheim can't be great.
Yeah, but that's like saying if I say Michael Jordan is great, then Anthony Davis can't be great.
No, he's not great.
Okay, I mean, I don't want to get into semantical.
Right, I'm just saying,
battle.
but I'm just saying when we use the term
he's
great,
one of the best 75 players of all time. I think probably all 75 of those players are great. Now, there's levels, there's degrees. I mean, there's nuance. But all 75 of the best players in NBA history, they all got to be great. All of them.